Hello everyone and welcome to another casual review. Today we are talking about Rayman Legends Definitive Edition on the Nintendo Switch. I love Rayman. I played a ton of Rayman growing up, way back to the original PlayStation 1 version. I know everyone has these stories of like the games that you played back in the day, but you were probably too poor to afford a memory card and you couldn't justify to your mom why you needed a memory card, so you just play the same levels over and over again. That was the first Rayman for me. And unless I used cheat codes to skip to the very end, I could never get past some of these levels. And granted, the original Rayman is tough as nails. I don't think I could even play through it all the way nowadays. I think I'd even have a harder time than back when I was a child. So I did play the original Rayman, and then one of my first Nintendo 64 games was Rayman 2, The Great Escape, and I did 100% complete that game. That was one of my favorite 3D platforming games back in the day. I just love Rayman. I didn't play any of his Game Boy games really, and I think he kind of just fell off the planet until Rayman Origins came out. And I do have that game for the 3DS as well. So I got Rayman Legends for the Wii U initially, and that game is just awesome to play with like a significant other or a friend who isn't really a gamer, because I feel like this game is mostly tailored towards one person controlling Rayman using a traditional controller style, and the other person using the touchpad on the gamepad. Now this isn't for the Switch version, that you can't really do that with two players, I don't believe. I didn't try it out, but I don't think it's possible to do it that way. But on the Wii U, one person plays the gamepad and then one person plays Rayman as the traditional controls. On the gamepad, you play a new character. Well, oh no, he's not new. He's on Great Escape, I think. But his name's Murphy, and he's like this green fairy-looking thing. And you use the touchpad to manipulate the objects around Rayman. Like you can tickle enemies, you can make the currency, the lums, worth more. And then there are certain levels that are tailored specifically for this interaction with Murphy. Like Murphy has, he can really affect the gameplay. Like you need him to progress forward. Like he cuts ropes for you to swing on. There's parts where like he makes bridges appear. He has like this platform that you float around on. He does a lot of stuff. And when you're just playing single player, you kind of have to control him yourself by just pressing the A button. So he'll be like, hey, he'll like float over to a button and be like, do you want me to interact with this? And or like there's times where he has to like draw a path for you to walk across, and he'll say, okay, I'm swinging around this way, just press A when you want me to create platforms. And I guess it works, but having played the Wii U version of this game, I think it's so much better with the second person controlling Murphy himself. There actually is a mode where you control Murphy and the AI is controlling Rayman. And this does not work. This is probably the weakest mode in the game itself, because the AI just kind of does like this walking speed. He doesn't run or anything, and he's really stupid. So you're playing as Murphy trying to like, okay, go over here, and the AI is just like, oh, you want me to do this? I have trouble with it, because if you want to do a 100% completion run of this game, you have to play those modes again. So it's pretty much playing the exact same levels again, but as Murphy, and it just is not fun. I really wish that they had a setting where you could go to this level and say, hey, you can either play through this level as Rayman or as Murphy, and it's just one contained level instead of having to replay it again and again. It's kind of annoying that way. But I'm kind of going off on a tangent right now. Let's talk about the actual game itself. This game is the second game on the Nintendo Switch that doesn't feature video cameras, so I apologize in advance for the really crappy video footage. I know I'm just trying to record my Switch and it doesn't look as good as if I was able to do video capture footage. And it's a real shame, because this is a really cute game. It's got a lot of like liveliness to it. The animations are so dynamic and exaggerated, kind of like, and don't take this as an insult, but it is kind of like Hotel Transylvania, where I really like the animation in that movie. Everything's just so exaggerated, like lips and fingers just are super long and curled sometimes, and it's got a lot of dynamic poses like that, and I think it really works for this game. Everything's just smiley, there's eyes on everything just looking at you, it's just charming. The music, there's like a whistle to it, there's like banjo. It's just all so fun and lively and exciting, and it's just a really fun world to be in. The textures all look like they were painted as well. It just has a really unique art style, a really unique aesthetic. I just love being in this world. So Rayman himself, he's got like a punch, a kick. He can jump, he can wall jump, he has a little glide where his hair swings around and he kind of like floats down like a helicopter. He can run up walls if they're sloped up going that way. He can shrink really tiny if he goes into like a collapse area. He's just got a lot of cool moves, and he just controls so fluid. It just works so well. He does also, like, if you get near the edge, if you're close, he'll grab onto the ledge and like hoist himself up instead of just dying. I think a lot of 2D platformers could take a note from this game. You can play as lots of different characters other than Rayman. You can play as Glowbox. I don't really know how to describe him. He's kind of like a fat frog. And then there's a bunch of variations of this one girl with like a battle axe or sword and stuff like that. You can play as Teensies. Teensies are these cute little blue guys with like raspy voices. They don't talk, but they go, and they have like little crowns. They're fun. They've been around since Rayman: The Great Escape as well. And so throughout these levels, you have to actually, well, you don't have to, but if you want a complete run, you have to free all these Teensies from cages. They're hidden throughout the level. You can kind of think of them as like gold coins on Super Mario or something like that. And they're not frustratingly hard to find as long as you keep your eyes open. They're usually, you'll see like openings in the walls themselves and be like, I think I can get through there. And usually you can, and there's a Teensie in there. And then there's two major Teensies, like a King Teensie and a Queen Teensie. These are kind of like little more challenges. It's not just hit the cage and break it open. You got to go through a little challenge first in order to save the King Teensie and Queen Teensie. Alongside getting these, you have to, if you want a completionist run, you have to get a set amount of lums. And lums are kind of like the regular coins in Mario. They're the regular currency, and if you collect enough, you get a gold trophy on the level. I'm not quite sure if gold trophies do anything, but the lums themselves do accumulate. You have this like pool after you beat the level. They go back into the pool, and that's you uncover different variations of characters. Like they're all just the girl, Rayman, Glowbox, and Teensie, but there's different costumes for them. So it kind of gives you a little incentive to collect the lums as you go along the level. I wish that games like Mario also did this as well. I was talking about this way back when I did a casual review for New Super Mario Bros. 2. That's all about the coins. But I was complaining that there wasn't much of an incentive for gathering coins at the end of the level. Just 100 coins gives you lives. In this one, you can uncover costumes if you accumulate enough lums. So it's just something little something extra to shoot for, and I can really dig it. The levels themselves, really fun, really well done. You can tell that they put a lot of care and thought into these. The bosses themselves were really exciting and fun and unique to play against. And then every time you beat a boss, you also uncover like this music level, and it's kind of more like a rhythm-based thing. It's basically just like you have to run forward, you can't stop, and then you have to jump and punch at the right times. And as you're doing these actions, the music kind of matches the beat of those actions, so it kind of plays like a rhythm game. And it's just like all the little characters are singing it. It's just a really fun time. I think the very first music level that you uncover is Black Betty, but like it's all the monsters singing, so it's like, whoa, Black Betty, whoa, Black Betty, and it's just like you're running and then you're jumping right at the certain moments of the song. I don't know, it's just really fun. It's just something that you kind of have to play for yourself to really understand why it's fun and enjoyable to play through. Lots of different modes. Like I mentioned earlier, there's the Murphy mode that I do not recommend playing. There's a Kung Foot a challenge. So if you're playing with other people, it's kind of like this soccer game where you hit the soccer ball into each other's goals. Just a fun little distraction. There's challenges that change up like daily and weekly, and if you get high scores worldwide, like if you connect to online, you can play these challenges, and if you score a high enough place, you can gather a lot of lums. I didn't really play a lot with this mode in the Switch version. I used to play it a lot on the Wii U. Like I would tune in, oh, it's a new weekly challenge on Rayman, let's see if I can get a good high score on it. Wasn't really interested in it this time because I was mostly playing offline, so I couldn't really have access to these anyway. You can also unlock a ton of Rayman Origins levels, and it's basically like all the levels on Rayman Origins, so it's really like 2 games in one. And the Rayman Origin levels themselves are actually really fun, but playing through these, it kind of reminded me of like how well done Rayman Legends levels were done compared to these. These feel a little more like there wasn't as much thought put together with them. It's more like a generic 2D platformer, but is still fun if you're liking the game. If you play through all of the Rayman Legends levels and you want more, this is a nice, fun additional content. Just for free. You don't even really need to buy Rayman Origins if you have this game, in my opinion. You can unlock these pets, and the pets just generate lums every day. So you check in on your pets every day, gather up more lums, try to get more of those costumes unlocked. Just a fun little thing to collect. And so how you unlock all these additional things is lucky tickets. And if you get a certain amount of lums per level, you get a lucky ticket. And this is just kind of like a scratch ticket. Every scratch ticket, you can use the touchpad or like the stick and the A button. And this is how you get your creatures, your origins levels, that kind of stuff. I found it really tedious because you get a ton of lucky tickets, and it takes it's not much, but it takes like 15 seconds to scratch each lucky ticket. So I would just put off scratching all my lucky tickets because you just accumulate so many of these as you play along. And eventually I'd have like 30 lucky tickets that I have to go through. And it just takes a long time just scratching it. Just a little something that takes too much time. I get why they thought it might be fun, but in practice, it's just kind of tedious having to scratch all those tickets to get all those unlocks. I did end up 100% completing this game, which I don't normally do. Even I uncovered all the teensies. There was 826 teensies, and I got them all. Okay, so I take that back. I didn't 100% complete this game because there are certain costumes that you need an exorbitant amount of lums for, and I'm not going to just go lum farming. Like, I played through the whole game, got all the teensies, got all the gold trophies, everything, and I still wasn't even close to the final costume. So it's just like, well, I think I'm good calling it there. I'm still going to say I 100% completed this game, even though I didn't unlock those last 2 costumes, because the meat and potatoes of this game is uncovering all the teensies, and that's what I did. I don't think it was necessarily worth it to to 100% complete this game, especially the Rayman Origin levels. I did start getting a little tired of playing through them, but I do have that satisfaction of gathering all the teensies. You do get a special costume unlock if you gather them all. Not really sure if it was worth it, but I was enjoying playing the game, so I decided to go for it, and I'm happy I did. It's the type of game that can feel challenging at times, but also very forgiving, and that's my favorite type of gameplay. Like, I'm reminded often of Celeste, where that was a tough as nails platformer, but if you die, you just like instantly teleport back to just that room. You don't have to play the level over again. You don't lose any lives. In Mario, if you die, it just like makes this big deal out of it. Like, oh no, you died. Look, you just lost a life. Okay, do you want to go back into the level and start again? And maybe if you're lucky, you got to a checkpoint. Otherwise, you have to start the level over. In this one, it can be challenging at times. Like, you only have 1 hit unless you have a heart like floating alongside you, in which case you have 2 hits. But in this one, if you die, you just like balloon up, and then you just go back to that room. Like, it's very generous with its checkpoints. You don't have to get a flag or anything like that. No lives, no loading. It's just, oh, you died? Okay, try again. Try it again, and it's just very generous that way, and that way I just feel challenged, but I never really felt frustrated with it. I think a lot of 2D platformers could take a page out of this guy, get a lot of inspiration from it. Just a blast to play through, so much charm, so much liveliness. It's just fun to be in. I don't know. I really think that it is one of my favorite 2D platforming games, maybe alongside Tropical Freeze, I would say. Mario, you could learn a thing or two from this. I'm just saying. Overall, let's just slap a big ol' 5 out of 5 on this game. Great game, definitely recommend it, and I see it for so cheap all over the place. Like at Walmart right now, you can get this game at Walmart for $13. And if you have buddies to play through this game with too, all the more better. It's just like a great 4-player couch co-op game. I don't think that it is the definitive version of the game. I think if you do happen to have a Wii U, which I know a lot of people don't, I would recommend playing it there and having a person play as the gamepad, and then maybe you can like take turns or something like that. That is the real definitive way to play. Also, the Wii U version has this other mode, and I don't get why the Switch version didn't have this mode instead of the Murphy mode that it has right now, where you play through the normal levels. But the Wii U version had a mode where the AI just runs forward, and it's just specifically tailored to you playing Murphy. And they didn't have this mode in the Switch version, but the Rayman just runs forward, and you have to like clear the whole path. You're frantically going. That was a lot more engaging than just replaying the regular platformy levels as Murphy. Well, guys, that should be it for now. I appreciate you listening. Please let me know your experiences playing through this game. I definitely recommend it if you haven't. And let me know if you have any questions about it. I'd be happy to answer. I'm a master at Rayman. Love Rayman. He's got no limbs. He just got hands and feet. How do they stay on his body? I don't know, but he's just a cool guy. He's always cheesing it and giving you a thumbs up and he's a cool guy. And I'm just gonna call it right now. He's the next character on Super Smash. I know a lot of people kind of roll their eyes at Rayman because of like the whole Rabbids thing. I think he'd be a great character in Super Smash. Just saying, he's got the moveset there. Not a lot of love for the Rayman though, unfortunately. I do think he'll eventually be a DLC character for Super Smash because Ubisoft and Nintendo have a pretty good relationship, I think. Well, that should be it for now. I think I'm done rambling, so I will talk to you guys later. Bye!